I'm convinced that everybody needs more AI and automation in their life. Think of all the time you can save, the hours and hours of just unnecessary busy work that you can save for just a small upfront investment. With that in mind, in this series, I've been demonstrating for people how they can manage their entire YouTube vid channel straight from Notion. Makes it super easy, and you can work with a massive distributed team if that's what you want to do. In this episode, we're going to go even deeper. I'm going to show you how you can update your title and description automatically just using N8N, Notion, and a little bit of work from you. Let's get into it. Here you can see I've added in the details. So I've got our YouTube upload URL, our Google Drive final edit URL, and our Google Drive folder URL. So all of the stuff we've done in the previous episode. Here's what it looks like if we go to our YouTube. You can see here we don't have a title. Okay, that's just the name of the video that I uploaded. No description, no thumbnail, no playlist, none of all of that. Let's go back to our Notion. I'm just going to add in some test information here. So we're going to say test title and a test description. How good is this channel? You should definitely sign up to it! Exclamation mark. I mean, that's the truth. The next thing we want to do in our Notion database is add in a new status. So far we've got stage for upload, ready for upload, filming, created in Notion, and Google Drive folders created. We now want to add an editing one. We won't really be doing anything with that in this episode, but it's just there so that when the editing's completed, we can change it. The one we really want to get is requires YT information. So this is telling us that it needs the title and that kind of stuff. So when it gets to that status, we want to do something. So let's go back to our automation and let's go from there. So what we want to do is go into our N8N, and I've already shown you how to set all of this up before in previous episodes. I'm going to dive straight into our trigger. We want a Notion trigger, which is on page updated in database. Make sure we're using the right credentials. Then we're going to go along here. We want to search for our YT. We'll get the title here, Video Tracker Database. One there. Great. Want to make sure that our polling is going to be every day for now. We're going to fetch our test event. Let's have a look. So we go through, we'll make sure that it's all there. So we've got our ID, our final edit URL, our YouTube title, a publish date, which we haven't set yet, Google Drive URL, status, description, and so on. Status is the critical one. Now we want to add an if node. And the first thing we want to check is to make sure that our status is in the right place. So we put our status here, and we want to make sure that it's equal to requires YT information. That should evaluate as true. This is really important because it means that if it picks up something that isn't in that status, it's just not going to do anything. It's just going to branch off to false and do nothing. Next, we want to make sure we've got some critical information in there. So we want another if node. And what we want to do here is to make sure that we have a YouTube URL. That's really important because that tells us what video we're going to update. Now, interestingly, we just want to make sure for now that it's not empty. Okay. And we'll have to do something with that URL shortly, which I'll show you how to do. So far we've got this if node, which checks to make sure that we have a check status is correct. We have this node, which checks we have a YouTube URL. And we've got two more checks, which I'll quickly drop in here, which is for the title and the description. Shall we execute that step? Right. Right, so you see here I've put in two conditions. Both have to be true for it to continue. Now we can go to our YouTube and get into the really cool stuff. So in the YouTube node, what we want to do is we want to update a video, this one here. So we've already uploaded it, covered that in a previous episode. Now we want to go and update it. Now this video D is pretty interesting because if you have a look at our YouTube URL, we've just got the flat out URL here. But what we actually want is this MDP, etc., etc. The other interesting thing is you can actually get different types of URLs from YouTube. So I created a string, which will be in the description, which will help you with this. And we want to add this in here, which does a nice little regex to extract that specific ID that we want. For our title, as you probably guessed, we can use our video title. Okay, region code, that one you have to set manually. So we're just going to make that Australia for me. It can be whatever region you happen to be in. Category name is how to and style. And here we can update our properties to the description. So get this YouTube description, drop it in there. If you had the date, you could also add it there. Now, that's actually a choice for your channel. I do it this way, and we'll come back and repeat this later on because this allows me to check that all of the information I want added to the video is done before I actually go and update it. Okay, so if I go and execute this step now, okay, that executed successfully. If I go back to my YouTube, chuck a refresh on here. Look at that. Test video for channel, test description. How good is this channel? You should definitely sign up to it. That's great. And the final thing we want to do is to go back and update our Notion table to let it know that we've completed that work. So update database page. I'm going to make that by ID. If we go all the way back down here, I'm going to add our ID. And we're going to add one more status in here. And that status is going to be YT title description date. Okay, just put it back to requires that. Go back to our n@n automation and add a property, which is going to be our status. And we're going to set it to that one there. If we execute that step, go back to our Notion, we can see that it's been updated. Now you might be asking yourself, why do we do that? Well, in the next episode, we're going to trigger off that status and go to the next step. And we'll be repeating that till we get all the information that we want on YouTube. Now you might be thinking to yourself, hang on, there's so much more information that we could put onto YouTube. Why are we just doing that? And you would be 100% right. What we're doing here is actually building a series of little microservices. And although it's a little bit more work now, you're quickly going to see how this will allow you to scale what you're doing. And also when we get into our AI stuff and creating our own little chatbot that talks and sounds like you, it'll make a lot more sense. So bear with me. In the next episode then, we're going to go into the next little microservice. Now, all of this is in service of me trying to create $1 billion solopreneur business. And one of the things I very quickly realized when I started on this journey was that I needed to eliminate as much unnecessary time wastage from my life as possible. And this was the first thing I came across. The results so far have been astounding. By the time you watch this video, I've taken my overall process and reduced it by close to 70 to 80% of time wasted. It's an enormous amount of saving, particularly when I'm producing 3 to 4 episodes per week. I hope that gives you some excitement to keep going with it, and I'll see you in the next episode.